Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Lucid, and we're going back to our game with Late Age Ulm. It's turn 76, and we are rapidly approaching turn 81, which is the turn I'm currently on. While these will be strung out over some days as I release them, this recording is kind of happening in a frenzy to get caught back up, and ideally when we get to turn 81, we're going to do it together, because it's actually due in 12 hours. So here I go. I'll try to do 2 turns this episode, which is always tricky in the late game. So, of this, what is interesting? We got mind hunted, which hasn't really happened before, but it happened right here. I don't know who is doing it. Which, do we get to see? Okay, we still get to see there's a battle here. Oh. Just clearing out some ravens. We would like that, by the way, but Utgard, despite being extremely small, has several very, very competent armies. These guys were all here on top of me just a hot minute ago. Or, no, they weren't. Maybe, I can't remember, actually. Maybe, I think they came through here. I think the river's frozen. Infernal Disease, we pick off a Shadow Tribune. It is only fair we do that. And then coming down here, we found a magic site, Grove of Fertility. I think that's about it. Yeah, another Infernal Disease. Oh, well, we can check our unsuccessful. One of my horrors. This one was successful. And this one was successful too. So, pretty good on the horror spam front. Coming down. One of our thralls transformed into a horror and attacked. That means somebody cast horror seed on me. Rip thrall. I don't know where it's exactly coming. It's hard to tell because a lot of my guys are horror marked from just these lightless lanterns. But anyway, not totally sure what happened there. Probably that's really that message only comes from horror seed, so somebody cast that on me, which is cool. I don't really see. Normally they would cast it in your capital, and I don't see any signs of people getting horror marked here. So I don't think we have to worry about that. We'll come back to this. So anyway, blood economy going well. We had a few assassination battles. Those are always kind of fun to watch. Looks like we got a Shadow Tribune there. And here we got a Crystal Sorceress, right? Oh, man, this is a lucky one too. This is Astral 2 random. Those are pretty rare. Okay, get wrecked. And then some battles. So, Vampire plus Wolves attacks Ghosts and win. It's one of the nice things. Immortals don't rout very often, so even though like all the Wolves died, a normal commander would probably run, but not a Vampire count. Lemuria raids Utgard. Okay, this is unfortunate. So it looks like we attack here. Trying to take this, but Lemuria's Pretender is here and says, no thank you. And we've got some Horde of Skeletons spam. I don't see any Enslaved Mind, which is what would really scare me, because that would permanently kill my dudes. You can see we stopped having our vampires run in for the most part, and we're just... Okay, there is some Soul Slay coming out. Anyway, we are actually kind of losing the Skelly summoning thing. Wait, what the hell? Did they enslave one of them? Yeah, it looks like they got one of my vampire counts. Those bastards. Yeah, okay. Let's double... Well, they killed one of my counts. Whatever. Where are we? That was this one. So we lost a bunch of these. They got one of my counts. You can see here he is. Vampire counts like 44 blood slaves. They're not really worth doing Gift of Reason or Divine Name, which is how you actually turn them back into commanders. So right now they're basically just like a vampire. If you're worried about breaking somebody into blood, it can be a big deal, but I'm not really worried about that. Utgard is already into blood. Okay, let's watch this. Okay guys, you've seen it now. That's the Wind of Death trap. This is what happens when you use big stacks against Lemuria. And so, some of you, I have no idea what you'll end up commenting in some of the previous videos, but some of you are like, damn it, you're big and strong, you should go win the game. Just make a big army and run over somebody. Well, I make a big army, and I run over into Abyssia, and he flames from the skies me. So, that's a bad idea. I make a big army, I try to go kill Lemuria, and what happens? I wonder if this guy was Ritual of Returning. We're gonna watch that again. And I get Wind of Death trapped. And all my low MR wolves, they just get murdered. Now, there's ways to counter that. Basically, regeneration and life after death is a pretty good combo. Was it? Okay, it was this battle. I think he had Ritual of Returning, because I know we smacked the shit out of him, but he didn't die. No? How the hell did he, like, escape? Did he cast Flight? No, he didn't have Flight. How the hell does he live? Because it looks like we murdered him. Oh, you can see he flew up there at the end. Crazy. Okay. Anyway, that's the problem with having big doom stacks against these guys. It's pretty tough to counter. I guess we can talk real quick about how the spell actually works. You cast Wind of Death, it does an MR check. If you fail the MR check, you get murdered. So like wolves, it literally kills every single wolf. Rangers, it's going to kill most of them. My Ghoul Guardians, they have a little higher. They may live. They also have more HP. Their age is the other thing. So it's going to do two things. Wind of Death is going to cause damage over time. So it's going to hit your HP, and then it's going to cause you to age 5 years every battle turn. So you rapidly wither and die. But like Ghoul Guardians aren't going to die from that. So if I put Mass Regeneration, it'll keep my Ghoul Guardians alive. But my wolves, even if the regeneration would keep them alive from the damage over time, they eventually will just die from age. And by eventually, I mean after like 4 turns. Basically the same thing with the Rangers. They'll die after like 5 or 6 turns. So, yeah, there's... Wind of Death is strong. The other way to counter it is toss up anti-magic and you are less affected. So, yeah. I think that's all that's worth watching on the battlefront. Okay, we'll click through the events super quick. Temple destroyed, great. Gold, gold, okay. So, if we look at it, our economy's starting to kind of improve. If you recall, we had been pretty low. I think we got down to like 5,000, and we're back up at 6. But our real economy is lower than that because it doesn't factor in some of the unrest from blood hunting. Grove of Fertility. Okay, I think so. We've already talked about that. So what's going on? Well, we got our asses kicked here by basically nothing. So we're gonna come back. We want more. We want to take this. We're gonna do something different, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna move these Ghoul Guardians back in, and we're gonna back them up with a nice, pretty Sabbath. The Sabbath or a Communion. The Communion's going to have all these guys in front. For the Masters, we're going to do Earth Power, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh. That will make these guys actually really hard to kill in the front. Astral Shield, Twist Fate, Personal Luck, and Anti-Magic. That will make everybody pretty tough. I probably should have done Anti-Magic sooner, so I think that was a mistake. I mean, it's definitely a mistake. I don't know whether it will end up biting me or not. Phoenix Power, Summon Fire Elementals. Where's this guy? Oh, down here, right? So he's got a nice little path. He's going to make Fire Elementals that go play with them. This guy's going to sneak here. He's actually coming from a different province, and he's set up to do Soul Drain, which is not something our nation, I don't think, does terribly well. You know, I was thinking about it just a minute ago, and I can't take my Death Random Fortune Tellers and start using them to Soul Drain, which may be a very good idea. I think I may start doing that on turn 81. So, yeah. What else are we doing here? We're doing... this guy is moving in. This guy's sneaking, right? So he's not going to participate in the battle. I want to pop this out when they're not expecting it. We're going to come in, do Life After Death, and then Wither Bones. A bunch of other Sabbath Masters are coming in. Basically, they're going to spam out Wither Bones. This guy's doing Mass Protection, Relief, and Growing Fury. And Wind of Death doesn't really affect vampires. I mean, they age some and they take a little bit of damage, but they have regeneration and they're really long-lived. It'll affect these guys, but they're going to be protected by Life After Death. So this is basically, round 1 is going to hopefully clear off any army they move on top. Round 2, we're going to move in a bunch of siege units and try to sort of keep them alive while we take the fort. One thing I should be doing more, I think, and I haven't been doing much of it at all, is having my astral dudes spamming Enslaved Mind. I don't know who, like, I don't know how it's going to prioritize targeting. If it prioritizes Grand Lemurs, I'd be really happy with that. Because them doing it makes me cautious about sending rogue guys alone like he just did here versus me, where he did Wind of Death. So that would probably be a good idea. So anyway, this is one thing. We just want to take control of this province, and then later we'll siege it down. We also, if you recall, we attacked here, which is some vampires, and we're successful. We killed like 1 PD. Well, I'm expecting him to try to pop this, because this is a pretty critical province. It's like a land route up to the island. And so he's not going to let me sit on top of it, I assume. So what we're going to do, actually, is we're going to move a lot more troops in. This guy's going to do Power of the Spheres and Anti-Magic, and then everybody else is just going to come in with like a huge Skelly Spam thing, with some people doing Life for Life, in case he sends a Thug or Super Combatant. And probably would be better to do a little Communion, but we're not. We're just sending a ton of vampires on Skelly Spam. Here, we're going to send this guy to attack. Doesn't have... This basically will just end up Skelly spamming. And I don't know if that will work. It probably won't. Yeah, most of the guys are going to come here and join in this Communion to do the Witherbones Skelly Spam stuff. This Worm Mage is coming in. He's going to do his thing. Meanwhile, right, we have these sieged up. Abyssia has taken this. And it looks like I'm probably going to be able to hold this fort down, but we'll see. Basically here, we're just doing Rush of Strength, Reinvigoration, Life for Life, trying to kill thugs, Mass Protection and Growing Fury, so that we don't rout from Wailing Winds or something like that. And then, yeah, these guys are just going to attack behind it. We don't have a lot of mage support, but again, we got to be careful how much we pile up in one province. I should have anti-magic. That would be really important. I don't have it. I want to be careful, though, how much I pile up in one province because, yeah, Wind of Death. But I should have anti-magic. There's really no reason not to. I don't know if I... And see, my guys can make it all the way there. I really should have scripted them for it. Meanwhile, we're going to move vampires in to start covering these up. One of the nice things is if you attack on top of a Lemurian fort and you're holding it, not only will you get like a tiny bit of their non-existent income, but you will pin the armies in so they can't use them, and then you'll actually stop ghost production. So both those things are pretty damn good. We're gonna keep seducing here and keep holding on to the siege. Am I moving? I think I'm moving blood. Yeah, so we're moving some blood slaves in. And the way I'm kind of doing it is this guy's in the middle and then there's some dudes around it. So the nice thing with blood slaves is because they're not in your inventory, anybody nearby, when you move one guy in, they can use the blood slaves off this guy to cast their things. So that is that. And then here, actually on the forging front, we're making a dimensional rod. Still spamming out Infernal Disease. I probably, in a few turns, will need to do another round of making more blood items. But I'm not doing that yet. Yeah, right now we're trying to just whittle Lemuria down. If we can start sieging up his forts and splitting his empire in pieces, then we can kind of pick it apart. We also have this guy coming in. He's going to just take this and do Creeping Doom if somebody attacks him. Creeping Doom, I don't think it's that effective against ghosts, but if it's a small raiding party, it might work. And this guy's immortal, so I'm not really worried about him dying too much. And I think that's it for this turn, so we'll go ahead and pull up the next one, which is turn 77. So more Infernal Disease, we snipe another Shadow Tribune. Auspex, not finding anything. I probably should just turn this damn thing off. It's probably not worth it anymore. Where is this guy anyway? Okay, he's in here. We'll go turn it off in a bit. Back to our messages. Another Infernal Disease. We snipe another Shadow Tribune. We're casting Horror Seed again. Where am I casting it? Okay, this is going on Abyssia. And then our horrors are pretty damn effective, so that's good. What else? Blood economy's looking good. There's some battles. Let's click on these real quick. So, okay, we're not going to do it here. I hate clicking through this menu when I have a ton of things. Utgard raids us here. You can see he's got this big army with his pretender in it. And we've got a couple vampires and some crossbows, but this is not going to be enough. I don't think I need to tell you that. Yep, okay. So that was Marini. And we get basically wrecked. We don't kill anything. Way to go, guys. We get raided here. And I think we know how that's going to go. And then we attack them here. And I think this is just a couple PD, right? So we're now sitting on top of his fort. His army's split up. They're probably going to come back and attack us. And we're gonna go ahead and take this fight. I think we'll talk about that and then we'll go through the other attacks. So I've got some guys coming in. If you look right here, one of the things you can do, if you hit Y, it'll bring up everybody coming to this province. And you can see from the little commands everybody has who is already here, like this guy's already here, and who is moving, like this guy's moving, with bringing in some guys to help, some thralls to help break the fort. And then basically the plan here is we've got a ton of crossbows. We're doing flaming arrows. This guy's joining a communion, doing anti-magic, earth power, iron skin, temper flesh. My communion slave should be up here, I think at the front. Yeah, these guys are Sabbath slaves up at the front. And I think we have 4 of them, and they will be slaves for the whole communion, or 5 of them, and they'll be slaves. Some of them aren't at the front. I probably could put them up there. Whatever. We're doing a lot of life for a life, and we're doing like a whole lot, and we're doing life after death, which is going to apply to basically all of my living troops, which I have a lot of. And then we're doing mass protection, relief, and howl. And all that combined should probably work. I think we'll be able to kill these guys when they converge. and attack me, but we'll see. Life for Life will probably focus on the Gamma Herdings, is my guess. Though if it focuses on their god, that would be cool too. I don't know if we have enough Life for Life to kill their god straight out. But we'll try. Other attacks, we moved our Worm Mage to take this after the Horrors took the ocean, so this is back to being ours. Let's scan around, see what else happened. And yeah, I think we took this, I already showed that. So these guys are basically going to divide and conquer. Some are going to come here, some are going to come here, and then one is going to stay on top. The one staying on top will retreat if he gets attacked. But yeah, we're just going to try to keep this thing locked down a little bit. You can see that if we look up here, Lemuria, there was a big Abyssian army here last turn, if you recall, and Lemuria has this sieged. I don't know if there's an Abyssian army beneath it, or if they move somewhere else. I expect that it's beneath it. Here we can see... I wonder if you can't see it. Okay, here we can see a horror... Whoops. That came to attack. And this horror, I do not believe, was from a... Well, we can see. Yeah, I don't think that was from... Or maybe that was. I don't think that was from a magic phase attack. I think that was actually from Horror Seed killing somebody. Because the horror stayed. Normally if somebody moved in during the movement phase, the horror wouldn't stick around. But horrors that come from Horror Seed will actually stick around. So because I still see it on top, I think that means it was a Horror Seed horror. So that's kind of convenient. What else are we doing? We've got basically the horror cannon still going, spamming things out. We're going to be targeting a lot of these water provinces. And part of that, let's see if I can find it. I think we're summoning Shades this turn, maybe, yeah. Or Black Servants. So these are scouts. You find them in Conjuration. Black Servant, it's Conjuration 1. And they're a little expensive, 5 death gems for this guy that you can't really do much with. They're ethereal, they're very stealthy, and basically they're just kind of expensive scouts, but they're amphibious, so they can go underwater. And that's going to be pretty good for me, because I can cast Horror on the ocean and then take provinces, which is kind of my plan at the moment. Yeah. I don't think there's too much else to talk about this particular turn. We are throwing... Oh wait, did we show this? I think there was a huge battle here, actually. Yeah, there was. Holy crap, I missed the most important thing for the turn. Yeah, you remember I had this big army out here? And this is the formation we were talking about earlier in this episode. We have a rather small Lemurian army come out and fight us, but they have a Troll King, who's probably going to do armies of gold. And then they have a fair number, like 10 or more, maybe 13 Grand Lemurs. So this is probably not going to go well for me. But we'll see. Our wolves are running forward and they're probably going to die. These nether darts are actually doing a lot of damage. They're armor negating, so even though my guys have a ton of armor, it's not really going to help. And there's a lot of nether darts coming out. And they have actually a lot of Skelespam on their own. And Howl is actually causing me a lot of problems. It's killing all my Communion dudes. So, I don't think I actually noticed that when I was watching, but yeah, I got kind of wrecked by Howl. Totally hosed up my Communion. And yeah, I think all of my magic leaders are... I don't know. Yeah, I think my magic leadership is gone. So, we get kind of murdered there. That was almost all of his Grand Lemurs. Yeah, so he brought 10. He stole some Ghoul Guardians. He lost an Enchantress, but that's about it of value. Meanwhile, I lost a ton of stuff, so this is kind of unfortunate. The thing is too, so there's a lot of advantages to being on the offense. The disadvantage is, especially when you're sitting on forts. Sitting on forts is dangerous because you're unlikely to move. So the advantage you have in kind of your enemy predicting where you're going is kind of gone. And they know exactly what you have for the most part. So they can bring, exactly what they think will efficiently counter you. And man, he did that perfectly here. So yeah, we lost that whole army, which was unfortunate because that was a lot of turns of cap-only Ghoul Guardian production. We're going to try to hold the line here, so we're still sieging them. I'm bringing in a lot of guys, and basically what we're going to try to do is life for a life kill all of their elite units. It shouldn't target skeletons or ghosts, it should target grand lemurs and other things. So we're going to try to do that. The other thing I could have done and I didn't is I think I might start doing magic duel spam. I need to get my economy a little higher because I can't replace my mages. But eventually I can use these guys to just kill off grand lemurs every fight. If I have like 20 of these guys doing magic duel for in a very important battle, it'll just guarantee that we wipe out all the grand lemurs. So that is definitely an option. I'm trying to think what else. But for that too, they could also spam Soul Slay. I don't know which one's going to be better. Yeah, so basically the configuration here is Sabbath, Communion with a ton of life for life. And then these guys are going to hold the line. I don't know if that will hold against all of this, but we'll see. Hopefully it will. It's kind of low commitment though. Most everybody here is immortal. The only real commitment is these Ghoul Guardians. Because these guys should all spawn back. Trying to think. I think that's about it. We are doing more 3 red seconds. This one's at 123. So we're going to get this sealed off. And this one is at 48. Yeah. So we're going to get this sealed off too. And this will... Yeah, this will prevent me from losing quickly to Abyssia. If Abyssia decides to attack me, it'll really kind of... I've got all the entrances to my empire kind of sealed off now. So that's really good. Yeah. And I think that's it for this episode. So, yeah, you can see we're kind of winning, losing fights because we don't want to bring too much, and because we don't bring so much, we end up losing stuff like this because I don't have a ton of mage support. He brought way more than I did. But I think we're starting to kind of grind him down, especially with Abyssia on the offense. The only thing I'll say is it looks like Abyssia is having trouble getting all his raiders. Like, I've got all of Lemuria's raiders out of my lands, but there's raiders running all through Abyssia's stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you next time. Over and out.